The only thing stopping us is money. It's our economic system.
With the money having the will to do it. That's
true, but that's also...
It's us believing in the nice people.
Yeah. And the system creates that competitive nature between us, right?
I'd love to just key in here on energy, because I mentioned it before. There are about 4 different types of energy we get on this planet. There is the energy that radiates from the sun. There is the energy that we can get from the moon's orbit around the Earth. And I want to mention this too, because people are not aware of this. Because I mean, we hear about this energy problem all the time, but let's think about what the Earth actually is for a moment. It is a giant molten rock of hot molten lava, and it's only the very surface of the Earth's crust that inhabits life. Most of it is boiling hot rock, and it's all underneath us. So we've got all of this energy available to us.
Energy's everywhere.
Just want to take that in.
Moving on, it kind of goes into the next point. Once we have our needs met, once we can collaborate and work together, and we would change it up, switch it up completely, and we should start emphasizing automation and elimination of jobs. Okay. I'd say about 80% of the jobs we have in the world today are useless. Okay, we can banking,
insurance,
financial law. By the way, when you get rid of money, when you have a system based on access, Sam already said this. 95% of crime is monetary based. Okay, it's stealing, theft. Drugs is kind of the money issue.
And as technology's improved, and we've got this problem with technological unemployment, all of these unemployed people, they don't want to go into fields of science and engineering. They end up going to the service sector and becoming politicians and lawyers and bankers, and these don't actually add value to society as a whole. They just...
What do they produce?
By the way, I want to emphasize that word there, jobs, the elimination of jobs. We're not talking about the elimination of work. This is kind of semantics, but for the sake of this conversation, I'm going to define jobs as being forced, essentially forced to submit yourself to labor, to get the resources or the basic rights to live on this planet. These are things that if we didn't have to, we wouldn't do. I'm not talking about work. Some people are very lucky. They love their job and they have it as an identity, and they just love doing it, and they would do it even if they didn't get paid. I would say that's work. And so we're not talking about the elimination of work, but because we are working cooperatively or collaborating together, we would be still working however way we can, but it would be completely different. We would be unified in a way and working together to solve problems. That's what humans do. That's what we've done this whole time. We're just talking about complete human revolution of, imagine having the time to do whatever you wanted to fucking do, instead of having to submit to wage slavery.
A line that I really enjoy spelling, and I'm just going to have another go at it. Back in the days when there was slavery, the masters of the slaves had to feed and house the slaves. In the current system, in modern day slavery, the slaves have to feed and house themselves.
It's worse than that. The slaves feed and house the masters.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it's about time that stops. It's about time that we start encouraging our creativity rather than making us mundane and boring throughout, so that we can do boring stamp jobs and things like that machines could have been able to do for us in the last 60 years. We're completely eliminating the jobs, in which case we're actually servants to other people, and that might be in hospitality when people are serving you food, to the chefs that make it, sort of thing, unless of course you enjoy making food. If that's your passion, then you can follow it to the end of the earth, sort of thing. No one is stopping you from doing that. It's all about creating a world where every single person gets the opportunity to follow whatever their passion happens to be.
Well, you're not suggesting that people actually cook their own food and clean their own toilets. You're like outsourcing it to somebody else that can do something that you have.
Basically, we run a computer system and we work out how much technology we have. We update it to the current amount where there aren't patents and things like that actually limiting our technology. We make sure everything is what's it called, open source, just like how operating systems and stuff are, like Ubuntu. Sorry, someone else is running out of time.
I just wanted to mention that the resource-based economy is based around the idea that the whole world is a synergistic system. Every single action has a reaction inside the entire globe. We're not going to talk about it. We're talking about I was going to get to I don't know, just carry on anyway. Sorry, I'm on a roll. What we intend to do is put sensors throughout the globe that monitor the resources that we have, what the temperature is over here, how much copper there is here, what the water level is in that lake, and all the information will be monitored in a decentralized computer system where all this information is made available to everybody. That was my rant.
Okay, the next one is a very easy one. We have to swap this infinite growth paradigm to something we call a steady state economy. We're talking about something in balance with the dynamic equilibrium of the earth. That means that we cannot use trees faster than they regrow. That means we cannot use more oil than faster than it replenishes in the ground. Basic sustainable stuff that just makes a lot of sense that we all need to do. So that was going to be the first one.
We can use these systems to create an equilibrium, so it becomes really apparent where there's a disequilibrium in the resources that we have. So that's part of a lot of this is about creating an efficient. Like the problem is our current system because it creates scarcity. It also produces a tremendous amount of waste. And what we intend to do is use the resources that we have more efficiently. Have everything that gets created has a cycle to it, so that it can get reused. And so that we never have a scarcity of any resources. Everything will be monitored throughout the globe.
Does this include, your definition of steady state include that we don't produce more of something than is actually needed? Because that's the biggest problem at the moment, is that overproduction leads to wastage of stuff and also gluts and kind of crap lying around the country.
That's what we're going to talk about next and last. This is our final point. We would move from a system of dispersion and essentially chaos, how it is now, to a planned system. How it is now, we get like strawberries from Chile, we get bananas from Ecuador, we send bottles of wine off to France.
Oh, you go!
True, yeah. And then, sometimes it's profitable for them to send it back to us and sell it in New Zealand, okay? Shit that just doesn't make sense. Okay? If we were, logically it doesn't make sense. The only reason that stuff happens this way is because of our profit system. It's more profitable to be wasteful, unfortunately. And also you got to think about the entire production process, from the mining of the minerals from the ground, the transportation to the factories that produce it, then the transportation from the factories that produce it to the country where it's being consumed or whatever, or to the next stage of that production cycle, and then perhaps all the way back around the world to be sold. Okay. we stop doing that because it's unsustainable, it's wasteful, it's a waste of energy. So we plan that shit out.
The relocalization.
Every, like what you were saying before, every step of the production process, we eliminate the waste. We eliminate the wasted energy. That means, like, for some things, we might have the production plant at the mine, you know, that of whatever we need, or you know,
if there are resources that are being transported from one place to the other, say that there'll be like a whole lot of iron put on a ship, the factory will be on board the ship. By the time it arrives at its location, all of the products have been created for them.
It goes like in the same like with animals. We livestock export livestock in Australia.
That's fair enough.
Sure.
Absolutely.
yeah.
I think one of the things with the environment, because our current system just there's no inherent motive to look after the environment other than laws we create, which are just like signs that say don't do something. It doesn't actually resolve the problem. But if we have a system where we actually nourish the environment, if we have things that sit in the sea that nourish the fish in the sea, then the fish will be plentiful everywhere, and then we can get fish. If we create systems which create a lot of fertility and healthy animals that can run around wild, we've got we've got it everywhere. If we nourish the environment, we don't need to farm anymore. Well,
so that would be to say, so for the food problems, you would have automated devices making all of the food for all the people.
Yeah, well, we try to do that. So, I mean, maybe we won't be able to automate anything, who knows? Although maybe, like, you know, many generations in the future will be at Star Trek status, and we won't have to work a single minute of our lives. But it'll be work where there wouldn't be jobs. It wouldn't, like, nobody would have to be forced to do anything.
You can't, in our current system, you can use the word, I'm going to use the word prostitute, because a prostitute is someone who wouldn't really be doing that, but they have to be doing that because they need the money to survive. So, in a resource-based economy, you couldn't prostitute people to do things. So you couldn't say, look, I'm going to give you a whole lot of something, so you're going to go out and kill me an animal so I can eat it, because I don't want to kill the animal. So if the onus is on the actual person to actually go out there and get the animal, they're going to start realising how horrible it actually is, the industrial injustices we do to animals. I mean, otherwise, you know, there are food that's just served, looks all nice, all being cooked a nice, you know, animal, and there's this dissociation from what has actually occurred from the animal to the plate of food in front of you. You'll find in a society like that, people just shift kind of more vegetarian.
I think the problem is things like this. This is made in China. It's designed by someone in Finland. And in the course of making that little brick of plastic, the resources go ping, 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 all around the world about 15 times. And that's just one of these. A laptop, way more.
Can I answer that? Because I could probably do pretty well. For a start, if that cell phone ever breaks, if you're in a resource-based economy, for a start, that cell phone would be designed to the latest technology, the best technology that could possibly be made. They put into consideration how much shock value you can take and things like that to try and make the strongest, longest lasting cell phone we've ever seen before. If hypothetically the cell phone were to break, you wouldn't have to leave your city. The resources wouldn't have to leave your city to rebuild that cell phone and get it back to you.
Yeah, right at the moment we've got lots of little factories in China making all the components for all these things, doing jobs that people over here don't want to do, sitting for the salt drive for 14 hours a day.
Now here we go. In 1963, I think it was, General Motors built a mechanical arm, and it was a mixture of a computer and a mechanical arm, in which case you could pick up a tool, pick up a part, and then put it down within a 2,000th of an inch.
Yeah, and in America they're using that. In China they're using people because they've got...
Yes, but this is the thing, is that we use that technology, that ability to pick that thing up and put it down more accurately and so forth than any human can ever do it, so that the machinery lasts